Meghan Markle and Prince Harry recently announced the launch of next year's Invictus Games in Canada, an event dedicated to honouring wounded veterans through competitive sports. However, their announcement has faced criticism, with some observers arguing that the focus appears to be more on the couple than on the veterans the event's meant to support. This criticism highlights the challenges their new PR team faces in shifting public perception from negative to positive. A recent development has further complicated their PR efforts. Reports suggest that Meghan and Harry plan to bring their children, Archie and Lilibet, to the Invictus Games in Vancouver. These children, who are rarely seen in public, have become the centre of a new media buzz. The possibility of their attendance has generated significant interest among sponsors and the public, with some believing that their presence could boost ticket sales and public engagement. According to a report on Express, the Sussexes are making arrangements for their children to attend the opening ceremony at BC Place, Vancouver, which will provide guests with a family-friendly start time of 1 p.m. on February the 8th. Harry and Meghan are planning to take Archie and Lilibet to help promote a new family-friendly Invictus Games, the source said. The Sussexes have been very involved with the organisational elements of the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler events, and it was very much their idea to make this a family-friendly game so that taking part can bring their children along. The Invictus Games organisers have scheduled a week of family-friendly summer and winter sporting events to encourage sports fans and wounded veterans to get the younger generation involved. Archie's also earmarked to take an active role in the Invictus Games Foundation when he reaches the age of maturity. As both the founder and patron of the Invictus Games and Invictus Games Foundation, Harry's very keen to lead by example and bring his family along, the source said. A patronage will one day be passed to Archie, so the foundation can be kept within the family. Harry's adamant that the Invictus Games will remain a Sussex initiative. The idea of bringing two children who are rarely seen in public to an event with numerous photo opportunities and international press has raised eyebrows. It appears that they're presenting their children to the world on a silver platter. The Invictus Games are intended to honour veterans, not to spotlight the Sussexes or their children. It seems that they might be trying to solidify their association with the Invictus Games amid rumours that the event organisers are considering distancing themselves from the couple. If, hypothetically, the Sussex children do attend the Invictus Games, it will undoubtedly come with added expenses. These could include transportation, clothing, housing and nanny costs. One might even wonder if there will be appearance fees for the children. Meanwhile, it's unlikely that similar provisions will be made for the children of Invictus Games competitors, which would highlight an unfair disparity. Critics argue that this is another example of the will they won't they game that often precedes high-profile events, especially in the tabloids. They suggest that the Sussexes don't need to show their children at the Invictus Games, as the media, particularly outlets like the Daily Mail, already provide them with extensive coverage during the event. The focus often shifts from the wounded veterans to Meghan and Harry themselves, making it the Harry and Meghan show. Given the ample media attention that they receive, some question why they'd bring their children into the spotlight now. Critics argue that the Sussexes should reserve such appearances for when they have no other options left, which they believe is fast approaching. The scepticism is understandable given the couple's history with planned appearances. Often their plans get postponed, cancelled, or they end up not being invited.